Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining Anna and I again. We've done a couple of videos before, which you will find on the divorcemagazine.co.uk website. And Anna, the last previous, you wrote a piece and we also did an interview mainly around domestic abuse. So if anybody is interested in hearing more about that, please do go and visit all the posts and the interviews that are on the divorcemagazine.co.uk. In the meantime, my name is Soila. I'm the founder and editor of the divorcemagazine.co.uk. And today we have Anna Pinkerton, and I'll let Anna tell you, if you don't know already, what it is that she does. And then we'll tell you what we're going to talk about today. Hi, Anna.
Hello, hi. Well, I'm a new author of How to Smile Again, and that's a book about helping people in public life recover from traumatic breakdown. I'm a clinician. I'm an art psychotherapist working with people with post-traumatic stress disorder. And I'm now the founder of The Magic of Kindness, which is a UK tour starting a movement around cultivating internal kindness.
Okay. And that's
why I'm here today, I think.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what we'll be talking about. We've known each other for so many years. And we are still following each other along our journeys as we go. So when you mentioned about the magic of kindness the last time we were together, I remember thinking, I need to know more about this, and I need people to know and hear more about this because it's just absolutely wonderful. So I'll ask you some questions about it, like I have no idea what it is, so that it can be clearer for people who are just coming into it. So one of the first questions would be very obvious. What is the magic of kindness about?
Okay, so the magic of kindness is cultivating an atmosphere which every single person can find themselves in a atmosphere of consideration, care, and companionship. And it was born out of experiencing, as a clinician, but also as a person with post-traumatic stress disorder, the kind of environment we find ourselves in. So, and it's not always harsh, but the thing that occurred to me when I was experiencing it was actually culturally we're pretty harsh on people who have any mental health or difficulties. And of course, the majority of us will do at some point of our lives. So I started to think about what would the culture be like if we cultivated a kindness towards ourselves and therefore were able to afford the kindness for others. And I realised you can't truly afford kindness for others unless you're truly, genuinely affording it for yourself and cultivating it and having a relationship with yourself that's gentle and kind.
Yes.
So I hope that explains it a little.
Yeah, it's. I always remember being on. When you fly, when you're in the aeroplane, and they always tell you when in case of lack of oxygen, the oxygen masks will drop. But please put it first on your face, on yourself, before you try and help somebody else. And also the whole saying about you can't give what you don't have.
Right.
And I'm assuming that is where you're coming from with the magic of kindness.
Absolutely. And the thing about cultivating internal kindness is that you would be producing the oxygen for someone else. You wouldn't be just grabbing the mask. So if we see that, if we build a relationship with ourselves where we are gentle with our thoughts and our actions in terms of almost anything we do, and that's not living without conscience. Obviously, living with conscience is really important. But if we are considerate of the things we've been through, we are kind in our thoughts and actions, we don't then breed within us the need to be unkind to others, to belittle other people, to elevate ourselves by reducing or diminishing other people. So you become the person that creates an atmosphere for yourself that's more kind, more supportive, and you therefore produce it for others as well. It has to work together.
Okay.
So it's like acts of kindness can't truly have their power without there being the process of kindness of thought first.
Okay. Could you because you've mentioned kindness of thought, could you tell us a little bit more about what that looks like?
It's a little bit like if you were to do peace studies, you end a war. So it's like if you want to study kindness, like, you have to have a relationship with your own brutality of thought. So where does the brutality of thought get its footholds? Mm-hmm. Which it does in all of us. We're not born that way, but we adapt within our families, within our cultures, within our societies and communities, to protect ourselves. Yeah. So kindness of thought is thinking, okay, why am I thinking that way? How truly does that help me, serve me? So first of all, being gentle with the fact that you're brutal, because if you're brutal about any totality of thought, you kind of entrench your position, and that becomes a very deep internal self-loathing that we actually disassociate from. We become almost unaware of it.
Okay. Can you give us an example, Anna?
So, for instance, like say if you're not recovering from something, you have a devastating experience, you don't recover, but what you do to yourself is like, gosh, I have to recover, you stupid idiot. I mean, I work with hundreds of people who have such brutality of thought. I know that. I had it for myself. I had to build companionship with myself to get myself to say, what else could I do? So first of all, you can change that brutality of thought to just noticing it without judgment, without the you stupid idiot, you fool. So just notice, oh, that's what I do. I do that. Okay. So then you can move on to, gosh, that's actually awful what I've been through. That's terrible. If that was someone else, yes, I would feel really sorry for them. So why am I so brutal? Yeah. And so a good example is, actually, you don't even need truly to find out the reason why you're being so brutal. You just make the decision to slowly but surely give it up.
Okay. To not do it anymore, or to just, I'm sure it's a process to actually give it up, that kind of thought.
Absolutely. Because you know it so well. Yeah. And it's so pervasive in our culture, yeah, particularly here in the UK, but, worldwide also. I'd say that people feel humiliated if they can't recover from things quickly.
Yes, that's very, very true. That's very true. And I think we had this discussion one time about the victim mentality, where it's almost like when you have been through a terrible experience, you are allowed to actually feel bad and feel pain and see it as something that happened to you and it was hurtful. But today we are told, okay, come on, it's about time, get better, come on, move on. And I can see there's a place for both, where you don't want to remain in that space forever, just thinking, I can't move on, I can't move on. So if somebody comes to you as a clinician and they say, and you recognize this in somebody, that they have brutality of thought, as you say, how would you go about helping them or getting them to, even in the first place, notice that this is what is going on?
Well, that's basically, you see it, you notice, and using words like brutality has been really helpful. I've been using this now for probably a couple of years. It just seemed to fit that people aren't just a little bit unkind. They're actually often brutal with themselves and what they've been through. So I might even use that word and see if people can, what that does. And then they'll go, oh yeah, that really is. That if somebody they knew was in floods of tears, had been through a terrible event or a string of events, they would not be screaming at them, swearing at them,
Yes.
smacking them around the head,
and you're doing it
harming them further. Mostly they wouldn't, 99.9% of us would be like, oh, crumbs, what can we do?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's where the companionship comes in.
Okay.
It's being the companion to yourself.
Yes.
And that's like a filthy concept. Pervasively, I think, culturally, it's like, what? Let's keep driving forward and let's not reflect on what's really happening.
Okay, and so you have the magic of kindness, and this is actually a workshop that you run.
Yes, it is.
And can you tell us a little bit more about the workshop? Because I know you have, a tour coming up in Manchester, in Derby, and in London. You can give us the dates, as later. But what would the workshop entail? What would I get from the workshop if I came to it?
So the workshop is where I share a very personal journey, very very honest about what I've been through and how the magic of kindness concept started to grow.
Okay.
But it only started to have words and almost something with legs when I had been through the process myself.
Okay.
So it became a marriage of my professional life and my personal experience. And you were absolutely right, that cultivating internal kindness is a process. You cannot switch it on to being all good. You have to have this wrestling and this relationship with it and with yourself. So if somebody came to the workshop, I would be sharing that. I'd be sharing part of my story.
Yeah.
And I would be guiding the people in the workshop through the elements, if you like, through the processes that are what my belief is required to be engaged with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a tick box. It's like, here's a process that I believe really propels you to a better place, to companionship within yourself. Yeah. So if we create a better world, a better atmosphere by cultivating internalness, this is the beginning of the process.
Okay.
And so there's three main elements of that process, okay. And I share each one of those and invite people to take part.
Okay, all right. Let me go into part 2, and then we'll continue with this in a few seconds. Just one second.